What if humanity isn't the first advanced civilization to walk the Earth? What if, buried deep beneath layers of rock and time, there are traces of a world older than history itself? A world that thrived and vanished long before we ever existed. This is not science fiction. This is a real question some scientists have dared to ask. A question known as the Silurian Hypothesis. It challenges everything we think we know about our planet's past. Because if another civilization once rose and fell millions of years ago, how would we even know? Most of their cities, their technology, their very bones would have been erased by the relentless march of geological time. But maybe, just maybe, the Earth is still whispering clues. You're watching Beyond Reality, where we explore the mysteries that science can't stop thinking about. If you want to keep unlocking secrets of space, time, and life itself, hit that like button and subscribe, because the truth might be stranger than anything you've ever imagined. And to understand whether we could be standing on the ruins of a forgotten civilization, we first have to travel deep into Earth's hidden past.
Imagine this. 65 million years ago, the last dinosaurs vanished after a cataclysm. But what if, millions of years before that, long before mammals ever took center stage, there was another intelligent species, one that built cities, harnessed energy, and even explored their world, just like us? That's the premise of the Silurian Hypothesis, a term coined by NASA scientists Gavin Schmidt and Adam Frank. They weren't claiming such a civilization existed, but asking a much deeper question. If it had, could we even detect it today? Here's the problem. The Earth is a master at erasing her own history. Over millions of years, continents shift, mountains rise and crumble, oceans swallow coastlines, wind, rain, and ice grind stone into dust, and everything we build, from skyscrapers to smartphones, is temporary when measured in geological time. Within just a few million years, almost every trace would be gone. So Schmidt and Frank wondered, instead of looking for fossils or ruins, what if we searched for industrial fingerprints in the planet's geology? Chemical changes, unnatural isotopes, carbon spikes, signs that something, someone, once shaped the Earth before us. But could rocks and sediments really hold proof of an ancient, forgotten civilization? To answer that, we need to learn how scientists read the Earth's memory, layer by layer.
Picture the Earth's surface as a giant library. Each layer of rock is a page, each fossil a word, each chemical trace a whisper from a forgotten chapter. And geologists are the librarians, patiently reading a story that stretches back billions of years. They drill deep into the ground, extracting core samples, long cylinders of ancient rock and sediment. Within those layers are tiny, microscopic records. The pollen of forests that no longer exist, ash from volcanic eruptions long since turned cold, even traces of meteor impacts that changed the course of life itself. But here's the twist. If an advanced civilization existed millions of years ago, we wouldn't find their skyscrapers or highways. Instead, we'd look for chemical anomalies, substances that don't occur naturally in large amounts, yet could survive deep time. Things like synthetic compounds, radioactive isotopes from nuclear activity, or unusual patterns of carbon from massive industrial emissions. It's like finding a fingerprint in a book where the ink has faded, yet somehow the smudge remains. Even after eons, that smudge could still whisper, "Someone was here." And if that's true, we should be able to compare these clues with the greatest example we already have, our own modern age, because one day, far in the future, we will be the ancient mystery. Fast forward 1 million years into the future. Humanity, as we know it, is long gone. Cities have crumbled into dust, oceans have risen and fallen, and entire mountain ranges have shifted. what would be left of us? From space, there would be no glittering cities, no bridges, no monuments, no signs that billions of people once lived here. Even steel and concrete would have vanished into the Earth's endless cycle of creation and destruction. But deep in the soil and ocean floors, traces would remain. A sudden spike in carbon dioxide, layers containing microscopic bits of plastic, so durable they could outlast entire geological eras. Synthetic chemicals with no natural origin, and perhaps most haunting, faint radioactive signatures from nuclear energy and weapons testing. To a future species, these strange markers would be like breadcrumbs scattered through time. They might not know who we were or what our world looked like, but they would know something extraordinary had happened here. A civilization advanced enough to change the planet itself. And if we would leave such a signature, the real question becomes, has this happened before? And if it has, where are their traces?
When scientists sift through the Earth's geological record, they sometimes stumble upon anomalies, events that don't quite fit the natural rhythm of our planet. Take the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, about 56 million years ago. A sudden, massive spike in carbon levels warmed the planet by as much as 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Oceans became acidic, ecosystems shifted almost overnight in geological terms. Sound familiar? It's eerily similar to what's happening to our climate today, but back then, no humans existed. So what caused it? Most scientists point to volcanic activity or methane release. But could it also be the fading echo of an industrial age long erased? The Silurian Hypothesis says it was, only that such a signature would look almost identical. There's also the mystery of odd isotope layers, unusual deposits of certain metals and radioactive elements that appear suddenly in the rock record, then vanish. In our time, mining, smelting, and nuclear technology produce these same kinds of anomalies. If another species had once done the same millions of years ago, their chemical footprints might be buried right under our feet. But if such a civilization really existed, one question looms larger than all the rest. Who were they, and how advanced could they have been?
If another advanced civilization walked the Earth long before us, they might not have looked anything like humans. Our form, 2 legs, 2 arms, upright posture, is just one of nature's countless experiments. Evolution might have produced intelligent reptiles, bird-like beings, or entirely unfamiliar life forms. Some scientists and science fiction writers imagine theropod dinosaurs evolving greater intelligence if the asteroid hadn't ended their reign. Others speculate that ocean-dwelling creatures, perhaps something like cephalopods, could have developed technology in ways we can barely imagine. After all, intelligence is not uniquely human. We share it, in varying forms, with dolphins, crows, and even octopuses. If such a species reached an industrial stage, their world might have been utterly alien to us. Cities beneath the waves, power harnessed from volcanic vents, technology built from materials that decay far faster than our metals and plastics. After millions of years, all that would remain is the signature, not the structure. And yet, that's exactly the point of the Silurian Hypothesis. You don't need to find their skyscrapers to know they existed. You only need to see the scars they left on the planet. But there's a catch. If evidence could survive for millions of years, why haven't we found clear proof? To answer that, we need to understand the brutal reality of Earth's geological clock.
The Earth is not a static museum. It is a restless, ever-changing planet, and it destroys its own history with ruthless efficiency. Mountains are ground down to sand. Continents drift like slow-moving rafts, colliding, breaking apart, and swallowing coastlines into the deep. Entire ocean floors are pushed beneath the crust through subduction, erasing millions of years of history in the process. Now imagine a city, a civilization, erased not in centuries, but in geological heartbeats. Even the oldest human-made structures we know, like the pyramids, are just a few thousand years old. In the scale of deep time, that's less than a blink. 1,000,000 years from now, they would be nothing but dust. Fossils are rare because the conditions for preservation are extremely specific. Buildings, technology, art, even rarer. If an advanced species existed 50 million years ago, their ruins might have been pulverized, melted, or buried so deep they are beyond our reach. And so, if the Silurian hypothesis is true, we may be chasing whispers in a hurricane, faint signals buried beneath billions of tons of rock and time. But there's still hope, because in a few places on Earth, nature has preserved ancient worlds almost perfectly, and they may hold the only chance of finding an answer.
While most of the planet's history has been erased by time, there are rare places where nature becomes an archivist, guarding fragments of worlds long gone. The deep ocean floor is one of them. In certain regions, sediment piles up slowly, layer by layer for tens of millions of years. These deposits can trap chemical signatures, even microscopic particles that never see the light of day until scientists drill them out. Then there are ancient lake beds, sealed beneath rock, where entire ecosystems have been frozen in time. From pollen grains to strange isotopes, these places can preserve records so complete it's like peering into another Earth. And perhaps the most haunting are fossilized river deltas and peat bogs, where organic matter is locked away before decay can erase it. If an advanced species once thrived here, traces of their technology, altered metals, synthetic compounds might still lie hidden, waiting for discovery. These natural vaults are the closest thing we have to time machines, but they are rare, and the deeper we go in time, the harder they are to find. If the Silurian hypothesis is true, searching these vaults could change everything we know about our place in the universe. And it could also force us to confront a far bigger question about our own future.
The Silurian hypothesis isn't just a mystery about the past. It's a mirror, reflecting back on our own civilization. If another advanced species once rose and fell, leaving behind only faint traces, then one truth becomes unavoidable. The same fate could await us. Everything we build, every city, every invention exists on borrowed time. In the vast scale of Earth's history, even the most powerful civilizations are temporary. If we vanish, the planet will heal, erase, and rewrite its story until only a few geological fingerprints remain. For scientists, this perspective is humbling. It reminds us that if we want our legacy to last, it can't be built only on monuments of stone and steel. It must be built on wisdom, the ability to adapt, to protect our world, and maybe to leave it better than we found it. Because when the Earth turns the page on our chapter, the question will be the same one we're asking now. Were they ever really here?
So, what if we are not the first? What if the Earth has hosted other civilizations, each rising to greatness and each erased by time? The Silurian hypothesis doesn't claim to know the answer. It simply reminds us that the story of our planet is far older, far stranger, and far more fragile than we imagine. Somewhere beneath our feet, in a forgotten layer of rock, there might be a trace, a silent witness to a world that came before us. And perhaps millions of years from now, another species will dig into the ground and wonder the same about us. What do you think? Could we be walking over the buried remains of a lost civilization? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. If you enjoyed this journey beyond the limits of known history, give this video a like, subscribe to Beyond Reality, and explore our other videos that dive into the mysteries of science, space, and the unknown. Because sometimes the truth is not just out there, it's buried right here beneath our feet.